I want to talk about now a really, really terrifying phenomenon that we're witnessing in American politics, and that is an overt and explicit effort by the Trump administration to terrify into submission media outlets such that even ones they haven't yet targeted will preemptively bend the knee, preemptively oust voices who are anti-Trump, and preemptively shift their coverage to be more aligned with Trump's choosing. Two Truth Social posts that resemble this. Obviously, one we've already talked about in relation to the Wall Street Journal reporting, which we went over extensively on the morning show. We'll circle back to it this evening as well, about this letter that Trump wrote back during Epstein's 50th birthday, and it was all cutesy, and we have a secret, our wonderful secret, and we have so much in common, and here's my signature that's supposed to look like the crotch region, pubic hair of the woman that I just sketched. To which MAGA, weirdly, is going, actually, we're back on Trump's side now. What? Yo, we're so mad. Yeah, but we don't like that the liberals are really hyped about this. Okay, this is weird. And so Trump is suing the Wall Street Journal. I don't like Rupert Murdoch. So in a little sense, it's fun to see them fighting. But on principle, this is terrible. Again, trying to scare into submission. He called beforehand and said, I'm going to sue you if you post that story. Even though now he's saying, I'm not worried about the story at all. The Wall Street Journal printed a fake letter, Trump wrote, supposedly to Epstein. These are not my words, not the way I talk. Also, I don't draw pictures. I told Rupert Murdoch it was a scam, that he shouldn't print this fake story, but he did. And now I'm going to sue his ass off and that of his third-rate newspaper. Thank you for your attention to this matter. DJT. So just like he did with CBS, like he did with Ann Seltzer, he's using, funnily enough, lawfare, as they accused the left of doing to Trump, to get these outlets to act in a way that he likes or punish them if they don't. He also wrote about Colbert announcing that CBS is ending The Late Show. He said, I absolutely love that Colbert got fired. His talent was even less than his ratings. I hear Jimmy Kimmel's next, has even less talent than Colbert. Greg Gutfeld is better than all of them combined, including the moron on NBC who ruined the once great Tonight Show. Okay, and since he brought up Gutfeld, let's check in on the comedy genius, according to Trump, at work. Here was one of his recent bits.
This is why the criticism doesn't matter to us when you call us Nazis, Nazi this, Nazi that. I'm beginning to think they don't like us. You know what? I've said this before. We need to learn from the blacks. The way they were able to remove the power from the N-word by using it. So from now on, it's what up, my Nazi? Hey, what up, my Nazi? My God. Hey, what's hanging, my Nazi?
Nazi, please.
Thank God you did a hard eye there. God. What is it?
So that's Trump's gold standard. Dylan Williams said, in just the last day, Colbert was canceled, PBS and NPR were defunded, and Trump threatened to sue even conservative outlets like the Wall Street Journal and News Corp over revelations related to Epstein. It sure looks like an open attempt at authoritarian control of the media. Yeah, and we've been warning of this for a pretty long time now. And this isn't just about Colbert, obviously, as we just listed there. And it's not even that we know for sure, for certain, that CBS did this because Colbert came out and said, I think it's terrible that CBS or Paramount settled with Trump, which was just essentially bribery, legal bribery. It was, I'm going to pay you this settlement, even though we know we could win this case, so that you'll let this merger go through, which you're holding up near explicitly because you want us to settle with you. Before this, you had 60 Minutes producers, the executive producer, leaving and citing the Trump pressure on CBS and how the Paramount leaders were going to 60 Minutes saying, let's just pull back a little bit on the Trump criticism while we try to get this merger through. This is the exact opposite of what Trump supporters said they wanted, which was the great revival of the First Amendment, and we're getting quite the opposite. And a lot of people don't get that. I just did a podcast with somebody who's sort of center right, and he was kind of surprised to hear that from me. And that's why I bring it up a lot, because people need to understand that this is happening and that this runs contrary to what they said they believed in, which is a strong stance on the First Amendment. They advocate very powerfully for what they perceive to be First Amendment issues when it comes to like social media censorship, which isn't actually related to the government unless the government got involved. But now you see actual government efforts to silence voices that Trump doesn't like. And mum's the word. Washington Post said the end of Colbert's Late Show has implications beyond late night TV. The facts are these. The highest rated show on late night was nominated for an Emmy on Tuesday. On Thursday, Paramount CBS announced its cancellation. And yeah, so highest rated show on late night, even though it does add the context that there could be other factors too, like late night television has been languishing for some time. But it's hard to ignore the larger troubling pattern here with potential implications for far more than late night TV. And it would be one thing if CBS just did this out of the blue, but they already have been taking so many steps towards trying to back off of anti-Trump commentary. CBS knows what all this looks like, writes the Washington Post. They're trying very hard to address the optics. This is purely a financial decision against a challenging backdrop in late night, read the statement. And then it goes through it and responds with, phew, sarcastically. And then, as that's happening, you have PBS and NPR being defunded of their federal funding. Trump's victory over PBS CNN reports and NPR bias will be devastating for rural areas, station leaders say. So again, something that will impact rural areas getting their information even more than democratically voting areas. But when you put all of that together, you see exactly what's happening. And we have to continue to sound the alarm. And my request to all of you is support the shows that you believe in, however you're able to. If that's this one, that's great. Subscribing, join button, all those things. If it's a different one, great. If it's a more mainstream outlet, fine. But try to give support and be mindful of the sources that you're going to, because Trump is really trying to create an environment of fear for people who do coverage pretty overtly that he doesn't like. If all of that scares you, I'll remind you that Mike Johnson says no need to fear. Everyone loves Trump.
Look, the president is the most maligned and attacked political figure in the history of American politics. There's no question about it. But he's also the most resilient. And you see at the same time, his approval ratings are skyrocketing. By CNN had a story, I think, a day or two ago. He was at 90% approval rating. There's never been a president that high. So the more that...
Yeah, I mean, it's true, including Trump. There's never been a president. Trump has never been, ever, at 90% approval rating. On anything ever. Maybe within the Republican Party at some point, but that's not what he referenced. My goodness. Share your thoughts in the comments. Troubling stuff.